From worn-out dress to epic dance. The shocking invitation that changed everything forever. In the tiny town of Willow Creek, whispers filled the air like the sweet scent of blooming lilacs. The annual spring ball loomed on the horizon, a night where dreams and fairy tales danced in moonlight. But for Lily Thompson, a girl who wore hand-me-downs that had seen better days, the mere thought sent chills down her spine. A ball? With this old dress? She muttered to herself, fingering the frayed edges of the fabric. It seemed impossible, like asking a caterpillar to fly, but then came the letter pink and perfumed, a stark contrast to her dreary existence. It wasn't just any invite, it was a golden ticket to the heart of the ball, signed with a name she barely recognized. R.D. The very initials wrapped around her like a storm cloud, dark and ominous. Who was R.D.? Lily's heart raced. Was it a crush? A friend? Or perhaps something far more sinister? The sun dipped low, casting a golden hue over the town square, yet a cold sweat traced Lily's spine. She felt a pull, an urgency gnawing at her gut. It was as if the universe dared her to venture into the night. Would she dare step out of her worn life, shake off the dust, and twirl in a new, vibrant world? Each passing moment tightened the grip of suspense around her chest, an electric feeling that was both exhilarating and terrifying. As she stared out the window, the faint sounds of laughter and music drifted from the town hall, echoing against the walls of her insecurities. There was a surge of excitement racing through her veins, but it twisted with fear. What if she was tossed aside like yesterday's news? What if the night turned into a nightmare instead of a dream? But there was something stirring within her, a flicker of courage that refused to die. She clutched the invitation close, running her trembling fingers over the elegantly crafted curves of the lettering. "Do it, Lily," a voice inside her screamed. This could change everything. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Lily stood up abruptly, her heart pounding fiercely. In that moment, she decided she would wear that old dress and attend, whether it meant smiling through fear or throwing caution to the wind. What awaited her on the dance floor could either be magic or madness. Yet, the thought of those initials haunted her thoughts. Who was R.D., and why had they invited her? What secrets lay behind that velvet curtain of night? One thing was certain, the spring ball would be a night she'd never forget, for better or worse. The clock ticked ominously as Lily stared into the mirror, her pulse echoing in her ears. The dress, aged and threadbare, hung off her like a ghost from the past, but tonight she would breathe life into it. She took a deep breath, summoning every ounce of courage from deep within. The air was thick with tension, and outside her window, the laughter morphed into shrill notes that seemed to pierce her heart. With a final glance at her reflection, she pulled the door open, stepping into the cool evening. The world outside was alive, vibrant with noise and warmth, but for her, it felt like stepping into a den of wolves. Each footfall sent shivers of doubt coursing through her, the weight of fear intensifying as the town hall came into view, bathed in golden light. The music swelled, making her heart race faster. As she approached, she spotted groups of her classmates, dressed in shimmering gowns and sharp suits, their laughter chiming like the distant bells of a fairy tale. She wanted to blend in, to lose herself in the crowd, but the specter of R.D. hung over her. "Keep it together, Lily," she whispered to herself, wiping clammy hands on her dress. Could she really face this night? Suddenly, a shadow appeared before her. Lily! You made it! It was Emma, her best friend, radiant in a lilac dress that sparkled like the night sky. Yeah, Lily mumbled, forced a smile that felt more like a grimace. Emma's enthusiasm felt contagious. Let us get you out there. The first dance is starting. Before she could protest, Emma grabbed her hand, pulling her into the hall. The energy wrapped around her like a warm blanket, but insecurities lingered just beneath the surface. As they moved into the crowd, she felt eyes upon her, some curious, others critical. Did they see her hand-me-down dress? As they ventured onto the dance floor, the music swirled around them. It was intoxicating and terrifying. Lily twirled, the fabric of her dress rose slightly, and for that fleeting moment, she felt like a princess. But as the dance progressed, a wave of anxiety crashed over her. Where was R.D.? Just then, she caught sight of someone across the room, tall, dark hair, piercing eyes. It was undeniable. He stood there, confidently leaning against the wall, surveying the crowd. Could that be R.D.? The initials flared in her mind, igniting a suspicion that coursed through her veins. Who was he? Was he the one who sent the invitation? Before she could delve deeper into her thoughts, she heard Emma shout, "Hey, Lily! Come on! Join us!" Another friend waved her over, but Lily's instinct screamed at her to approach the mysterious figure instead. Against her better judgment, her legs moved of their own accord. Each step felt like crossing into uncertain territory, yet she felt drawn to him, as if his presence was the tide pulling her into the ocean. "Lily," he said as she approached, his voice smooth but dangerously enigmatic. "I've been waiting for you." Suddenly, a loud crash jolted the crowd. Gasps filled the air, and the lights flickered ominously. In that moment, Lily's heart pounded against her ribs as she realized something was very wrong. And then came a chilling whisper through the thrumming chaos, "You shouldn't have come." Her pulse quickened, an instinctual dread creeping in. Who was this man really, and what had she truly stepped into? The crowd began to dissolve into chaos as the crash echoed through the hall like a thunderclap. The laughter faded, replaced by shouts and panicked whispers. Lily's instincts kicked in, urging her to turn around, to flee, but her feet felt glued to the polished floor. "Lily!" Emma's voice cut through the noise, panic lacing her tone. She waved frantically, drawing closer, but a surge of bodies swept between them, splitting them apart. The figure was still there, but now he was moving closer. R.D., or whoever he was, stepped toward her, weaving through the fear-stricken students. The dark intensity of his gaze held her, an anchor in the storm of confusion. "They're scared," he said, leaning in so she could hear over the cacophony. "But you need to understand." "What are you talking about?" Lily's breath came quick, a harsh mix of fear and curiosity. She tried to read his expression, but there was only mystery. The lights flickered again, casting strange shadows and highlighting expressions of terror around them. A group of students rushed past, shouting, "Fire! There's a fire!" Lily's heart sank. Fire? It wasn't just the chaos, it was real and immediate. In the midst of distress, the enchantment of the evening shattered, revealing the vulnerability beneath the facade of celebration. "Stay close," he instructed, not breaking eye contact. "I can help you." "The truth is, Lily." Emma broke through the throng, her face pale. "We need to go. Now!" But as Lily turned toward her, a sudden roar sounded outside, drowning the inside of the town hall. It sent icy tremors down her spine. She looked back at R.D., who watched her with an intensity that felt both inviting and jarring. "No," he said sharply, grabbing her wrist. "Don't listen to her. You can't leave yet." "What do you mean?" "I can't." Just before she could finish, the floor beneath them trembled. A loud crash resonated from somewhere deep within the building. Panic erupted again, and people shoved past, desperate to escape. Fragments of conversation swirled around her like storm winds. Did you see what happened? The fire started near the kitchen. We're trapped. Then Artie leaned closer, his voice lower, almost conspiratorial. You're part of this, Lily. You have to find out what is happening. You can't leave yet. I promise I'll explain everything. Explain what? This isn't okay. Her voice trembled despite her best efforts. A sharp scream pierced the air, turning heads. Somebody. It was one of the chaperones, terror-stricken, rushing for safety as flames began lapping at the edges of the exits. Listen to me, Artie pressed urgently, glancing towards the commotion. Only I can help you. You have to trust me. The words hung thick between them, weighted with urgency and a foreboding chill. Every instinct screamed for her to turn back to Emma, to flee with her friend into the night. But another voice within her whispered to stay. What truth could he uncover? Lily. Emma shouted again, desperation spilling from her tone. Please! We need to go. Now! As her heart raced, she was torn. Artie's grip tightened slightly, and in his eyes, she glimpsed a flicker of something: fear, longing, perhaps even darkness. What had this night become? Lily. Another voice chimed in, one she hadn't expected. It was Artie's, now laced with urgency. Your choice could change everything. But hurry! Time felt suspended. The roar of flames grew louder, and suddenly, every second mattered. Who would she listen to? The familiar voice of safety, or the unknown dark allure of a man who claimed to have answers? With one final look at Emma, the ground beneath trembling more than ever, she made her decision. But in that choice, a deeper truth awaited, one that would follow her well past this night. As chaos closed in around her, and uncertainty loomed, Lily stepped forward, ready to dive into the unknown. What awaited her in the shadows? Artie stepped closer, his breath warm against her ear in stark contrast to the encroaching chill of chaos. Trust me, Lily. You need to see this. The words wrapped around her tightly. A part of her screamed to bolt back to Emma, to safety. But another part pulsed with an electric thrill, curiosity clawing its way forward. What do you know? She demanded, panic bubbling just beneath her voice. He hesitated, glancing towards the still collapsing ceilings that cascaded dust and debris. Everything, he said finally, his voice low but urgent. This isn't what it seems. Adrenaline surged as another crash echoed through the hall. Artie's grip felt reassuring yet possessive, anchoring her to him amidst the madness. Flames danced dangerously close, licking at the edges of their escape route like eager serpents. With each inch closer to disaster, the thrumming in her chest grew louder, matching the urgency in his eyes. Look, he said, pulling her behind a column, shadows shrouding them from the chaos outside. There is something you need to understand about tonight. It's not just a fire. There's a reason this is happening. Just tell me. Her impatience bubbled, mixed with fear. People are in danger. And you're part of it. The certainty in his tone set her heart racing again, an unpleasant mix of dread and intrigue. There's a key, something you can do. But I need you to follow my lead. With one last glance at the chaos surrounding them, she swallowed hard. What are you saying? Artie bent closer, his voice almost a whisper. The fire, it was started deliberately. There's a symbol hidden in this town hall, something they don't want you to find. You're meant to find it, Lily. But time is running out. The words hit her hard, like a slap of cold water. A symbol? What does that even mean? Who would do this? They'll do anything to protect it. He paused, glancing around. And if we don't hurry, they'll trap us here. Who? She frowned, struggling to grasp the reality he presented. This is insane. They're after people like us, he said, his expression darkening. People who can stop what is coming. And it's not just the fire, it's worse than you think. In the distance, another surge of screams erupted, the sound splintering her thoughts. Her mind raced, swinging wildly between disbelief and the innate desire to escape. We can't just stand here. Trust me, he said again, his tone brokering no argument. We have to find the symbol, and then we can prevent whatever is happening. But we need to move. The air grew heavy with smoke, biting her lungs, yet she felt fueled by the storm brewing within her. Okay, she breathed out, heart pounding with every incomprehensible beat. What do we do? Follow me, he led her through the shadows, weaving around petrified students huddled in corners, and still screaming chaperones. Each step felt charged, as if the very floor humiliated beneath them. They slipped into a narrow corridor, the air thick with tension and the acrid scent of smoke. Behind them, the town hall groaned with agony, a crumbling testament to the chaos outside. A flickering light bounced against the walls, pulsating eerily. There. Artie pointed towards an unmarked door at the end of the hallway. Hardly visible, it appeared almost swallowed by the darkness. That's where the symbol might be. But what if someone sees us? What if, trust me? He grabbed her hand, their fingers intertwining, and together they darted towards the door. As they reached for the handle, the distant roar of flames shifted, panic surged back through her veins. Artie paused, eyes alight with a mix of fear and determination. Whatever happens next, don't let go of my hand. With a push, they burst through what awaited them in the depths beyond that door. And would they find the answers they desperately sought? Inside the room, the air was thick with dust, and an unbearable silence that swallowed the chaos from outside. The flickering light above revealed shelves crammed with ancient tomes and brittle scrolls that felt like they concealed whispers of lost knowledge. Artie pulled her deeper inside, the door creaking ominously shut behind them. What is this place? Lily asked, her voice barely above a whisper. A hidden archive, he replied, scanning the surroundings with urgency. It's been here for decades, untouched. They thought it was a storage room. But it's so much more than that. The weight of his words trailed after her, as she tried to shake the sensation of being watched. She could almost hear the faint murmurs of history echoing off the walls. But this was not the time for nostalgia. Where is the symbol? She asked, heart racing as she noticed shadows dancing in the corners. Were they just dust motes, or something more sinister? I think it's Artie hesitated, cutting himself off as he approached a shelf against the far wall. With tentative fingers, he traced an outline on the dusty wood. Here. It's carved, and his voice trailed off, and as she joined him, the air felt colder, almost alive. A swirling symbol emerged beneath her fingertips, distorted but unmistakable. It was like nothing she'd ever seen, its intricate patterns invoking something dormant within her. What did it mean? Suddenly, an explosion rocked the room, sending them both sprawling. The overhead light flickered violently, and dust rained down like forgotten secrets. Heart pounding, Lily scrambled to her feet, adrenaline pouring into her limbs. Are you okay? Artie shouted over the chaos, his eyes wide with concern. Yeah, I think so. She gasped, brushing off debris and the cold realization that the fire was inching closer. They needed to hurry. Focus, Lily. His voice was sharp and demanding, snapping her back to the moment. Can you feel it? The energy? It's reacting to you. She stared at the symbol again, an uncanny warmth radiating from it. The fear and confusion warped into an exhilarating sense of purpose. What if I have to just concentrate? It's connected to you somehow. Open your mind, he urged, desperation bleeding through each word as the thundering chaos outside pressed in relentlessly. She inhaled deeply, heart racing. As she reached out, visions flooded her mind, images of a town lost to time, shadows inching closer, the symbol glowing with a vibrant light. With each heartbeat, She could sense its power crawling beneath her skin. I don't know if I can, then I'll help you, Artie declared, gripping her shoulders with fierce intent. Just let it guide you. We can stop this. A shudder rippled down her spine. A part of her, always skeptical, screamed to resist, to run away and forget everything. But that part was weak now. It was drowned out by the growing pulse of the symbol urging her to stand firm and unlock the secrets buried just beneath the surface. Okay, she breathed, a wave of determination crashing over her. Let us do this. Just as she steadied her resolve, the door behind them slammed open. A dark figure loomed in the entryway, silhouetted against the flickering flames spilling in from the hall. A smirk twisted their features, a malicious grin that sent chills down Lily's spine. Did you really think you could uncover the past? The figure taunted, stepping closer into the light. Lily and Artie exchanged panicked glances, the weight of their discovery teetering on the edge of chaos. What now? Artie hissed, ready to defend her at any cost. And suddenly, Lily realized the truth. They weren't just fighting for themselves anymore. This was a battle for everything that mattered. The symbol, it's our only hope, she murmured, fear intertwining with determination. But the figure laughed, and the sound was sharp like a knife cutting through the darkness. You have no idea what you're up against. Lily took a deep breath, the energy pulsing through her, urging her to act. She locked eyes with Artie. We have to be ready. Whatever happens next, what power would they awaken? And would it be enough to confront the darkness closing in on them? The dark figure took a step forward, backlit by the flickering flames. They were cloaked in shadows, their features shrouded, yet the menace in their eyes was unmistakable. Fear gripped Lily like a vice. She instinctively moved closer to Artie, her heart racing. Who are you? Artie demanded, fists clenched at his sides. A dreaded chuckle escaped the figure's lips. Names are irrelevant. What matters is what you've stumbled into, the forces you're meddling with. The flames flickered again, casting erratic shadows across the room. Lily's gaze flitted back to the symbol glowing slightly beneath her fingertips. It seemed to pulse in tandem with her rising panic. Stay back, she urged as the figure advanced, their smirk widening. The figure stopped abruptly, eyes narrowing. Ah, the girl thinks she wields power. But that mark, it connects to darkness, child. You have no idea of the burden it carries. What do you mean? She shot back, resolve hardening her voice despite the tremors running through her. The energy you feel is a lure, came the figure's cold reply. It beckons from the void. You're a vessel, Lily. A mere pawn in a game you don't comprehend. Artie stepped protectively in front of her. We're not anyone's pawn. We know what we're doing. Do you? The figure laughed again, a sound that echoed ominously in the cramped space. You barely understand the truth of your family's legacy. You've only uncovered the tip of the iceberg. Lily's stomach dropped. What did they mean by family legacy? Fear twisted and contorted her insides. Memories of whispered conversations with her mother flooded back, treasures hidden and secrets shelved. Could it be connected to this impending disaster? What do you want from us? She demanded. I want you to understand the futility of fighting fate, the figure replied, stepping forward again. The symbol is an invitation to a power beyond comprehension. The more you resist, the more it will consume you. I want to be consumed, she retorted, trying to summon strength. With sudden urgency, Artie turned back to her, eyes blazing. Lily, think. If this symbol connects us, can we use it against them? She hesitated, uncertainty creeping in. Was unlocking the power worth the risk? Could it protect them, or would it unleash chaos? Trust it, Artie urged, an intensity in his tone that sent vibrations through her. We need to work together. But before she could respond, the figure lunged forward, and the very air around them crackled with foreboding energy. Lily gasped as the room shimmered, The symbol flared brightly, seeming to come alive beneath her touch. "Now, let us show them what true power looks like," Artie said fiercely, clutching her hand. In that moment, as the darkness closed in around them, Lily felt the warmth of the symbol surge through her, infecting her veins with a strength she had never known. A flash of memory struck her just then, the town swallowed by shadows, a warning echoing in her mind. With a deep breath, she focused all her being on the swirling energy in her hand. She could feel it beckoning, ready to be unleashed. Would the surge of power protect them? Or would it only fan the flames of destruction? The figure halted, surprise rippling through their cruel smirk. "No! You can't!" But Lily was already channeling every ounce of energy into a desperate crescendo. The room vibrated with an ominous hum, and shadows contorted wildly, as though reacting to her command. "Now, Lily!" Artie shouted, urgency in his voice. Just as she unleashed whatever force she could muster, the room exploded with blinding light, filling her senses, drowning out the darkness that loomed. And then everything went wrong. The walls shook violently, old tomes crumbling and dust swirling like a tempest. "What have you done?" The figure screamed, panic replacing their confidence. As the chaos raged on, Lily's heart sank. Was this the power they sought, or the ruin they had feared? All Lily could do was brace herself, consumed by uncertainty. They had ignited something far beyond them, and she had no idea if they would survive the flames. What had they unleashed? And was it already too late to save themselves? The light ripped through the room like a knife, blinding and bright. It consumed everything in its path, swirling with power that felt both exhilarating and terrifying. Lily felt Artie's grip tighten around her hand, his heartbeat frantic against her palm. The chaotic energy crackled, a wild beast set free, and suddenly everything went silent. In that stillness, she could hear the rhythmic thumping of her heart, echoing her fear. Not even a whisper came from the dark figure anymore. Had she done it? Had she managed to overpower the menacing presence that threatened them? When her vision slowly adjusted, she peered through the haze and gasped. The once menacing figure was doubled over, clutching their stomach as their shadowy cloak whipped around them like an untamed storm. A primal fear flickered in their eyes, an emotion Lily hadn't expected to see. "Stop!" the figure croaked, desperation creeping into their voice. "You have no idea what you're doing. What did you expect?" Artie shot back, though his bravado wavered. "You underestimated us." Lily felt a surge of energy pulse through her. It was intoxicating, empowering. But then the sensation twisted, and with it, a fresh wave of panic washed over her. "Artie, I don't think we can hold this much power." Before she could process his response, the symbol burned like fire under her fingertips, and the shock wave rushed outward, crashing through the room like a tidal wave. Books flew off the shelves, shattering against the walls as a dark shadow began to seep from the ground. It was tearing open the fabric of reality before their eyes. The figure's expression shifted, veering from terror to something darker, something filled with glee. "You've done it now, children. You've ripped the veil wide open. Welcome to the abyss." A heavy weight pressed against Lily's chest. She could feel the temperature drop, an unnatural chill that bit at her skin. "We need to close it. We can't let this darkness through." Artie nodded, but his resolve cracked. "Lily, I can't." In a moment of clarity, she realized they were dangerously close to unleashing whatever malevolent force clawed to escape. "We have to try. Focus on this symbol. Channel it back. We can do this." But the pull of the abyss was relentless. It called to her, luring her in with promises of strength and mystery. A part of her ached to surrender, to embrace the unknown. Suddenly, the ground buckled beneath them, and a roar erupted from the fissure, echoing their doubts and fears. The walls of the room trembled, rattling like a caged beast ready to break free. "Lily, make it stop!" Artie yelled, terror finally shedding his bravado. As she felt the whisper of darkness inviting her deeper, Lily knew she had to make a choice. Embrace the power and risk losing herself in the void, or fight back, shut it down, and risk everything she might become. "Artie, hold on tight," she shouted, summoning all her remaining strength even as shadows coiled around her legs like serpents. The symbol flared one last time, a burst of radiant energy clashing against the encroaching darkness. But just as hope ignited in her heart, a new presence invaded the space. There were more figures, stepping out of the shadows, their eyes brimming with malice. "You have meddled with forces far beyond your understanding," one intoned, the voice steeped in an otherworldly echo. Panic surged. Who were these new players? What did they want? As shadows wrapped tightly around her, a realization gripped her. The fight was far from over. With a final breath, she prepared to face the coming storm, determined to protect Artie and herself. This was not just about survival anymore. It was about reclaiming a legacy that threatened to consume them both. Could they turn the tides, or were they doomed to dance in the flames? In that moment, darkness coiled closer, and she knew everything was about to change forever. The shadows surged, thick and alive, and Lily felt their chill crawling up her spine. The figures looming before her were unlike anything she'd encountered, their shapes indistinct yet pulsing with a chilling energy. She squeezed Artie's hand tighter, grounding herself amid the chaos. "Who are you?" she managed to stammer, her voice barely above a whisper, quaking with outrage and fear. The lead figure stepped forward, his face hidden beneath a hooded cloak, but his voice like gravel. "We are the Warden of Shadows. You've torn through the veil, and now you stand at the brink of destruction. Enough with the theatrics? We didn't teach you this," Artie shouted, desperation in his eyes. "We're not your pawns." The Warden lifted a skeletal hand, silencing Artie. His fingers unfurled, revealing glimmering runes etched into his skin. "You have awakened what should remain undisturbed. The darkness hungers for what you possess: power, knowledge, legacy." Lily felt a surge of defiance wash over her. "And you think you can take it?" Her voice held an edge, echoing more power than she felt inside. A terrifying laugh erupted from the shadows. "You think emotion can shield you from the abyss? You are weak, and weakness welcomes darkness." Artie stepped in front of her, shielding her from whatever sinister intention those figures might hold. But the vortex of energy surrounding them roared louder, the sound like a feral beast unleashed. Lily felt it battering against her, demanding attention, calling her name. Pressing her palm against the symbol, she focused, willing it to respond. The burn intensified, almost painfully so. The runes danced under her touch, reflecting the void encroaching around her. "Artie, channel your energy. We can still turn it back." His breath quickened, and she watched as he wrestled with uncertainty gripping his heart. "What if we can't? Then we'll fight with everything we have," she shouted, the stakes igniting a fire within her gut. The figure shifted, stepping closer, mirroring the unsettling chaos that rippled beneath their feet. "Foolish children," the Warden hissed, his voice rising in pitch. "You have no idea what the darkness seeks. You are an offering." The ground trembled violently, and Artie stumbled, pulling Lily down with him. "Lily, we have to leave." Panic surged through her like a lightning bolt. "No! We can't back down now." With one last push, she raised her hand, channeling the light from the symbol. The brilliance coursed through her, a searing flame against the freezing shadows. She felt Artie beside her, gathering his strength, feeding her resolve. Together, they formed a frail barrier against the encroaching darkness. Suddenly, everything exploded into a kaleidoscope of light and sound. She felt electricity pulse at the tips of her fingers, a feeling so intense it nearly stole her breath. Shadows shrieked and writhed, cruel faces contorted in rage. The shrieks of the figures echoed like a symphony of suffering, mixing with the chaotic roar of energies colliding. You cannot contain what you have unleashed. The warden's voice cut through, laced with fury. As the energy coalesced, she caught a glimpse of terrifying truths, flashing images of countless lives, the sacrifice of those who had come before, their stories entwined with her own. For the first time, she understood. This fight was a legacy. Lily! Artie yelled, his voice pulling her from the brink. We're running out of time. Focus! They were nearing a breaking point. With the shadows clawing closer, fingers outstretched to snatch away what they valued most, Lily could almost sense the abyss reaching out, eager to pull her into its depths. Heart racing, she shouted, "Now, Artie!" In unison, they unleashed all they had, aiming the blinding light forward. But in that moment, the shadows pushed back, fierce and relentless, rippling like a dark tidal wave. The darkness writhed, twisting into shapes, figures of anguish, grief, and 1,000 lost souls. With the veil weakened, they closed in, and their emptiness gnawed at Lily's resolve. Are you ready to embrace your fate? The warden taunted, his voice ringing with ominous delight. The question lingered in her mind, weaving through her thoughts like poison. What fate awaited them? Did they have the strength to resist? Just as the rift threatened to consume them, Lily felt a glimmer of hope flutter behind her heart. But would it be enough to withstand the storm? Before she could answer that, the chaos swallowed them whole, scattering light and darkness into wild, twisting realms of the unknown. As the ground beneath them ebbed and flowed like the tide, one stark thought burned bright in her mind. They were at the fulcrum of destiny. They had ventured too far to go back, but would she be willing to fight against the abyss alone? What awaited them on the other side of the shadows? The light and darkness collided in a frenetic dance, each struggling for dominance in a realm where rules had no meaning. Lily's vision flickered like a candle in the wind, shadows snatching at her edges, but the warmth of the blinding light surged through her veins. She could barely breathe, every inhale tasting of old memories and lost dreams. Lily, keep your focus, Artie shouted, his hand gripping hers like a lifeline. Don't let them. Before he could finish, the shadows lashed out, fingers of darkness curling around his outstretched arm. A cruel wave of despair flooded the space as Artie wrenched free, but the dark tendrils were quick, snapping back like a rattlesnake, intent on swallowing him whole. Get away from him, Lily roared, her voice fierce with desperation. With sheer will, she pulled the light into a sharp spear and hurled it towards the encroaching darkness. The impact sent a shockwave through the shadows, scattering the cruel laughter of the warden. Lily could see it now, the talons of darkness retracting from Artie, flickering like candles in the night. But victory felt transient. The shadows morphed and twisted, reforming even stronger, more furious. Do you see? The warden rasped, his voice echoing through the chaos. You cannot hope to win against the inevitable. The greater the light, the harder it falls. With those words ringing in her ears, Lily felt something shatter inside her. Each doubt ignited flames of uncertainty, and she suddenly felt small. Would her resolve, born from a flicker of faith, be enough against the wrath of the abyss? Lily. Artie's voice pulled her back like a lifebuoy in churning seas. Look! She turned just in time to see Artie summon a burst of energy from deep within, his hands alive with swirling light. Together, they could amplify their connection. Focusing every ounce of belief and heart, they merged their strengths, the barrier of light surging higher, illuminating every crevice. Light erupted from her palm, sending ripples of brilliance across the writhing shadows. Faces more twisted than she could comprehend thrashed in their desperate attempts to breach their defenses. The combined illumination provided a brief moment of clarity, a window into the deep-seated pain that fed their aggression. They're not just shadows, Lily realized, a sickening knot forming in her stomach. Their souls lost. The realization struck her with poignant force. These figures had once lived, felt love, had dreams like hers, ones that had been extinguished. Her heart raced, both terrified and compelled. "RD, if we can free them, what?" "How?" he shouted, dodging a stray dark claw. "We have to harness the light differently. Not just to fight, but to reach them." RD hesitated, eyes darting between the thrashing shadows and her determined expression. "You're risking everything. What if it doesn't work? Either we try, or we let them take us," she urged, a swell of emotion pushing her past fear. "Focus on the light's warmth, RD, feel it. Let it guide you to them." With a deep breath, he nodded. They realigned their energies, hands brushing as they channeled warmth and hope into their tight grip, the light shifting from a weapon into a beacon. The shadows recoiled, fear etched in their distorted faces at this vulnerability. As light enveloped them, they began to whisper, faint echoes of lost songs, regrets, and dreams tickling Lily's ears. Each spirit tangled with another, weaving a fabric of sorrow she had never known. "Let them go. Release them," Lily cried with a new fervor. "You deserve peace." As she shouted, the energy locked in a spiral, threading through the void. The dark figures paused, shimmering against the light, drawn into the solace they hadn't felt for eons. The warden's fury erupted around them, his face twisting in agonizing disbelief. "No! You will not sever my hold. I will consume everything," Lily's heart thundered. They were losing time. She could feel the shadows creeping back, taunting them. "Hold on, RD," she chanted, eyes blazing with determination. As the last vestiges of light flickered, she heard a voice within the chaos, a soft, distant plea hidden beneath the smothering shadows. Help us! Could she trust the darkness to lead her to hope? Just as the balance hung by a thread, the mist of shadows erupted again, threatening to swallow their bond. Would they succeed in saving the lost souls? Or would the warden reject their plea, dragging them deeper into despair? As the void loomed closer, all she could do was push forward, hope igniting like a fire in her soul. Would they be forever consumed, or would they carve a path through this madness? Only one thing was certain: the dawn was drawing closer, but would they see it? The cacophony of light and shadow filled the room, an electrifying dance of energy that felt destined to either destroy or redeem. Lily and RD stood their ground, each pulse of luminous heat drawing the shadows closer. "Let go!" Lily shouted into the dark, her voice laced with urgency. "You don't have to suffer anymore." With each word, the energy in her hands surged, feeding off the warmth blooming in her heart. RD mirrored her intensity, determination shining fiercely in his eyes. Together, they bore the weight of generations' lost souls crying out for solace, trapped in a web of shadow and despair. But the warden was relentless. "You cannot free them, little girl," he howled, claws aiming for their connection. "They belong to me. You are naive to think you can outshine the dark." "No," Lily countered, stepping forward, the light blazing fiercely around her. "We choose hope. We choose them." The more she leaned into that choice, the brighter the light became, each flicker dispelling doubt and illuminating the figures writhing in agony. The shadows stopped, twitched, and hesitated as the light wrapped around them like a comforting blanket. Instead of attacking, their faces softened. And in that moment, she caught a glimpse of who they once were: friends, family, dreams cut short by the weight of despair. Choking back tears, she felt their collective longing reach out, begging to be released. "See?" she urged RD, glancing at the faces all around. "They don't want to fight. They want to be set free." His grip tightened around her hand, his heartbeat syncing with hers, the connection amplifying their shared purpose. With each flicker of light, the dark figures started to dissolve, their moans morphing into whispers of gratitude. "Thank you, help us," echoed across the space, each word adding to the swell of energy that surrounded them. The warden yelled in torment and rage. "You think this will save you? I will not let you take what is mine." And with that, shadows lashed against their light, clawing and scrambling, attempting to reclaim their power. "Lily!" Artie shouted, a wave of darkness sweeping toward them. "We need to push harder." He stepped closer, channeling his strength as their shared determination coalesced into a radiant flare. Lily felt the warmth coiling around her heart, weaving through their fingers like a lifeline. "Together!" she cried, their voices merging as one. "We won't back down." With renewed vigor, they channeled their energy into a colossal burst of light surging forth, like the dawn breaking through the long dark night. The brilliance exploded outward, unraveling the shadows in a dazzling display of hope. The warden's grin twisted into horror, unable to withstand the might of their combined will. As the shadows retreated, swirling with confusion and fear, the figures began to transmute, losing their darkness, shedding the pain they had clung to for so long. And for the first time, they were seen, their true forms emerging, figures bathed in light, their faces tranquil, smiles blooming like flowers after a long winter. "Freedom," Lily whispered. The words were a prayer, a promise. As the last notes of light ebbed away, the warden faltered, shrieking in pure anger. "You?" But before he could finish, the dark energy collapsed in on itself. The figures turned, their essence following the path of light, cascading upward like fireflies into the night. "Thank you." Their voices surrounded Lily and Artie, an exquisite choir that lifted their hearts and filled the room with warmth. And then there was silence. With the remnants of power still crackling in the air, everything around them grew still. Shadows dissipated like morning mist. The warden was gone, consumed by the very darkness he had tried to wield. "Did we?" Artie whispered, still holding her trembling hand. "I think we did," Lily breathed, relief washing over her, a tide of emotion drawing her into the warmth of the moment. They stood together at the center of the once hellish room, now sparkling with residual light. But the world was just quiet. It was transformed. The archive, these ancient tomes, held a connection. For the first time, Lily felt the weight of legacy behind her, displacing the shadows of fear with a glimmer of understanding. She glanced at Artie, sensing a shared acknowledgement. "It's not over," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "But we can face whatever comes next. Together." "Together," Artie said firmly. As they looked towards the door, the air felt fresh with potential. Outside awaited uncertainty, but they had faced down the darkness together. "Let us rebuild," Lily said, determination sparking in her eyes. They stepped into the light, hearts aflame with hope, ready to tell their story. A new chapter awaited, and with it, an adventure to reclaim what was lost. This was more than a battle, it was a legacy reborn. Thank you for taking this journey with us. If you love the story and want to keep discovering more epic tales, you need to subscribe now. Don't wait even 1 second, hit that red button. And if you're loving what you're seeing, smash the like button right now to help spread the magic through the algorithm. We want to hear from you. Flood the comments section below with your thoughts, reactions, and theories about this explosive ending. And as a true fan, share this video with at least 5 friends who you know need to witness this conclusion. Your support means the world. Let us keep building this incredible community together.